Hey guys, it's Will. All right, traders. All right, traders. Big news today. Rigetti stock is up an incredible 36%. Quantum computing is in the spotlight this week, and this kind of surge, it really can't be ignored. In this video, I'll break down why Rigetti stock is taking off, the key levels to watch, and whether this rally has the staying power or if it's time to cash out. So before we dive in, guys, I've got an important update for you guys. You see, this is for all my StockMate subscribers. Our $150 off sale is closing soon, but right now you can grab that discount with the coupon code below this video, no strings attached. But starting Friday, things are going to change. And in order to earn that $150 discount, you're going to have to subscribe to the channel, you're going to have to hit the like button and comment below, then take screenshots of your current investing account balance with all those things, send it to the StockMate team to qualify for the $150 offer. So don't miss a chance. You can lock in the deal the easy way. Use the coupon code in the description below. It's that second link below. Now let's talk about Rigetti. Let's get into it. So Rigetti stock, you can see it's up 35% today. You can see our orders this morning, we sold at market open and we're up about 9.4% in our live trading session with StockMate. We traded Rigetti stock. Then we got into Tesla. So we're over here right now. You can see we got in this small position on this trading pattern here with Tesla. It's pretty easy to kind of map out. You can see we saw the support and resistance. We basically bought right here. It's up $64 so far today, but overall we're up 9.2%. Definitely that Rigetti trade helped out. Now let's take a look at Rigetti stock. You can see Rigetti is up. You see Amgen, which is a company that's using quantum computing to bind protein peptides. They're more of a pharmaceutical company. You see IONQ is up, QBTS, D-Wave, QUBT. So these quantum computing stocks, if we look at the averages, it's got to be somewhere between 10 and 20% increase across the market today. So when we look at Rigetti, we had some previous levels mapped out. We've been following it for over a month and a half now. And when we look at Rigetti stock from really a perspective of trends, it looks like it's been holding this uptrend. It was at $1 just really back in November, went up to $21 before selling off. That was Jensen's comments. Couple things are happening here. The first thing is we saw that this sink down, this support was from that Fed meeting. And because that happened, even though it's a little artificial, we saw it act as a support here, broke that support, continued down, but now we see it actually reestablishing that same support, broke out above the 200-day moving average, which indicates more bullish momentum upwards. Now, of course, we could potentially see a pullback tomorrow. You can see that RSI, the MACD's massively overextended. We might look for something like that at market open to trade it. So make sure to check that second link below if you want to see us trade it. We're going to be doing it. But overall, these companies were looking really positive on the long term, especially after some of the insider data we were able to get, and I shared here on the YouTube channel over at CES. Now, when we see this recovery, it's indication that we could see higher highs continue for the stock. Now, this is a key level. It's at a previous resistance here at around $13. It is approaching this previous support, so it is in a range of potentially getting rejected. You can see right here, this is a level, there's a previous resistance, and also it's going to have to reach up here. This is a previous resistance, previous support, give or take, and then some consolidation there. So if it breaks above this $13 range and it holds throughout the day, maybe we see a bull case here. Most likely what's going to happen is it's going to pull down to here around $11.50, this previous resistance, most likely before continuing up. That would be a more conservative bull case. An even more conservative bull case would be pulling down here to that $11 range before continuing up. We'll see. The hyper bull case would be, we had this Jensen comment that drove it down because it overreacted. We see it start to push up, and now it's at $13.30. And we'll be monitoring it closely. So that's how the technicals look. Rigetti stock. Wow, so much new things happening in the quantum space. I mean, I could just, you see here when I'm on Google, you got Rigetti on Azure. So I could click here. We could see it. Microsoft. They got quantum computers, simulators. You could even check pricing for using this quantum computer through the cloud. The other one we can search, if I'm starting to type Rigetti stock, you can see it over on AWS. Same deal here. You can utilize this quantum superconducting computer here at AWS. And you can see kind of how they map it out. Providing AWS customers access to QPUs is an important part of accelerating the commercialization of quantum computing. So this is kind of the reason why. When we talked to some of the professors and executives at CES, they told us that the earnings were going to be interesting. They didn't say they were going to beat them, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot more usage of quantum computers widespread. And I believe it was either the Microsoft growth officer, or maybe it was IBM's vice president of quantum that was there, that said that we might be surprised by earnings. And so as we start to approach earnings, we'll see what happens. Quarter four, they have had some lackluster financials here. You can see they haven't been really beating their expected earnings. They've been missing revenue and missing earnings per share, except for in December 2023. Starting to improve a little bit year over year, with their net income went up 33%. And their profit margins up 12%. But overall, the financials were looking in the negative, as what you would expect for any company that's doing a tremendous amount of innovation. You could look at big companies that's on the forefront of any industry. What's a good example? You had Amazon. I want to get this right, because I said in the past that it was like 20 years before Amazon made a profit. That was a hyperbole. I think it was 7 years before. And now I got to get this right. Oh my gosh. Amazon... how many years before profitable? Let's settle this. It was how many years? How many years? They don't even say. How long did it take? 9 years. All right. Not 7 years, 9 years. Now, you can see the same thing with SpaceX. You can see the same thing with Tesla. A lot of the big innovators don't see a profit right away. Rigetti Computing is right there in the talks with IONQ, and there's a lot of these companies working with, they're backed by NVIDIA, a lot of them. A lot of them are working with NASA. A lot of them working with the military as well. There's two key indicators I want you guys to look at here. The first thing, outside of the financials, we kind of see they're mediocre. Technicals, we're looking good. We see it holding that trend, hopefully here, validating a support and continuing up. But the two things we're looking at here, Rigetti institutional ownership. That's the first thing. Who owns it? Oh, wow. That's great. We know that NVIDIA is a big investor in Rigetti. We also see here, you got BlackRock, major shareholder. You got American Assets. You got Vanguard. And you got State Street. Okay, so you got some of the biggest investors in Rigetti. You can even see position size here, and the value in the thousands. So we're talking really millions of dollars from these different companies. Charles Schwab as well. So you got to ask yourself, yeah, they could take a bet. Do you buy a company so that you can write off the loss? Yeah, that happens. Hey, that happens. I don't think that's the case here, though. I think this is investing in the future. You see NVIDIA as an investor in the company. You see a lot of prominent institutions investing in the company. And that's a big deal. So that's the first thing. Look at institutional investing. That's a pretty big deal. Now, the second thing I want you guys to see, Rigetti. We'll just go to Rigetti, go to the site. The second thing we're looking at here, and you can look at their site, check out some of their, how they're set up. Second thing here is this momentum. So the momentum, a lot of people say, oh, it's a long ways out. Maybe it's 10, 15 years, Jensen. Maybe you hear them talk at CES. We just posted a video earlier today about some of the key insights that we heard, and I filmed it. It wasn't really available to the public. NASA is a partner, Oxford Instruments, University of Edinburgh. You see AWS, Microsoft on top of that. So not just in these, these aren't small names. These are the biggest names in tech. But on top of that, there is this big bill that might get signed. And I think if we were going to see this bill get signed, one of the people that would sign it would be our current president. Because this is a gutsy bill. It's a big step up from what we saw in the past. You see, in the past, they were funding U.S. the National Quantum Initiative. They were funding it from 2017 to, I think it was 2021. And it was around, I think it was maybe $1 billion. I think it was around 1.4 billion. Maybe we can look at a better article on it, but I think it was around 1.4 billion. But now they are passing a bill here that is going to be 2.7 billion over 5 years, advancing practical applications in quantum technologies. This is not talking about partnerships. This isn't about them getting partnered with some of those big companies that I just laid out to you. This is about them getting straight up stimulus. And you can see some of the names mentioned. You got IO&Q, Microsoft, University of Washington to endorse the bill. You're most likely going to see this play out into these top developers of the quantum space: Rigetti, IO&Q, QBTS, QUBT. Probably going to have to do some more research, but probably in IBM, probably over in even Google. But one of the notes I took is that their quantum computers, what they're expecting to put out this year, is 10,000 times more efficient than Google's Willow chip. 10,000 times more efficient, and they're expected, by improving the fidelity of each qubit, to increase the efficiency by over 1,000% in the coming years. So that is a massive step up in tech. The other thing that people say is QPUs are going to be replacing GPUs. That's not correct. And the reason why it's not correct is because QPUs, or quantum computers, they have to run in tandem with a classical computer. And so that's really important thing to, like if I go over here to Rigetti, one of the big things Microsoft was talking about that they're doing is they first have their problem they're trying to solve, and they run it through the quantum computer via through CPU or through AI. And when they run it through, then after they run it through the quantum computer, they get it down. For example, you could see lithium-ion battery from 30 million data points down to 8 options, right? So that's where then they run it through AI and CPU again to run it back through the quantum computer. It's like this tandem, and you need classical computer in tandem. A good way to look at it, in lithium-ion battery, they got it down to 8, and then improved the lithium-ion battery's efficiency by 70%. So that's a big deal. But the way that this works is they run it in tandem. And the reason that that's important to note is because it means that data centers or these big companies that are using these quantum computers are most likely going to plug in together. Well, there's another piece of that too. They run it in tandem. It's not going to replace it. It goes down through here and runs through the QPU, and then they get it back through the AI. There's some big keys to that we're going to be talking more about, and how it's used in tandem with some of the tech, because that's where software comes in. And when software plays a role, just like GPUs, you can have the tech, you need the software to be able to utilize the tech. And so that's where you have some of these other software quantum companies, not the hardware. Now the hardware is probably where a lot of the money is going to be, But where the next step of money is going to be is definitely in the software. And so you're going to look, if somebody creates software that's widespread available for, multiple quantum computers. You can even look at Rigetti developing their own software. They talk about it, you can see it on their site. Then that's gonna play a huge role in the growth across the industry. And so we'll see what happens today. Again, portfolio's up 9%, but it's good to see. We'll see what happens here. Expecting a little bit of a pullback. You can see the RSI here down there. You can see the MACD as well, looking overextended. Most likely would see a pullback here in the near term, but looking promising to break up into this new level where we'll see some consolidation potentially before the continuation upwards. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Rigetti will go over some other quantum computing stocks. And I would encourage you guys, if you want to see what happens at market open and see how if we have an opportunity present itself, then we'll be taking advantage of it. And I would encourage you guys to check out that second link down below, StockMate, to be there at market open if you'd like to. The other thing we just launched in StockMate was the earnings this week with some price targets. So make sure to check those earnings. We got them mapped out for pre-market. After hours, we'll be taking a look at inside of StockMate, which will be really cool as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Do consider subscribing. Do consider hitting that like button. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.